Today we're going to talk about this sense of feeling broken. People express how they feel broken, like something is wrong that needs to be fixed. And so that is what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to Grief Inspired. My name is Catherine McNulty, and if you have suffered a heartbreaking loss, a loss that has completely changed everything about your world, maybe it was someone who was your confidant, your supporter, your number one cheerleader, maybe a parent or a dear friend. Maybe it was a spouse that you've spent 20, 30, 40 years with, who was really your entire world, that everything you did and everything that you are was centered around this particular person. Or maybe it was a child that you gave everything to, and you never expected that you would be burying them before you yourself went on. All of these losses are heartbreaking. There are things that when I think about it, when I think about my loss, it's like, look, I didn't want to deal with grief. I don't want this. I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. And if you feel the same way, let me know, because that's how grief shows up. You don't want it. You certainly don't want to have to deal with it, but here you are, and you do have to deal with it. So today we're going to talk about this sense of feeling broken. When I interview a lot of different people, and I've been doing a series of interviews that I'll talk about in a minute, people express how they feel broken, like something is wrong that needs to be fixed. And before we do that, for my interview process, I am looking for more people who would be willing to share with me their grief story, their challenges, their fears, and where you think you want to go, and what you think would want to help. I am creating something that is amazing, and I need more input, more insights, more advice from all of you in order to help more people. What I have learned, and I've done about 40 of these interviews so far, and I want to get to at least 50. So if you can help me with that, that would be great. And what I have learned is that there are way too many people in this world who are just like you, who are trying to navigate the process, who feel lonely, who feel lost. We don't know what our sense of identity is like anymore. We don't know who we are without this person in our life. And we feel disconnected from the person that we once were, or maybe disconnected from our friends and family. But we don't want to stay here. We don't want grief to overwhelm us with sadness and overwhelming emotions for the rest of our life. I've had some people say that this is my lot in life. This, I just have to deal with it. There isn't anything that can be done about it. And I want to challenge that notion, because I do believe that you can heal from grief. And that's why I'm doing this series of interviews, is to find more ways to get more insights from all of you, to see what will really help. I have ideas, and I've worked with a lot of people, so I do know what works. But I want to hear from you, because your story, your message is so important. And what you need, I can guarantee, is something that someone else needs. And so understanding that will help me through the process. So let's talk more about this sense of brokenness. When grief strikes, our whole world turns upside down. And again, this is when we're talking about heartbreaking loss. I'm talking about the big loss that will take you out at the knees. That for me, it dropped me to my knees. My head was spinning. I didn't know which way was up. Some people say they feel like their feet are stuck in concrete because they don't know what to do. They're paralyzed with fear, uncertainty about what's going to happen next. And it leaves us feeling broken. Like there isn't something inherently wrong with us. Like we should instinctively know how to navigate this pain that we're experiencing. This world that we're suddenly thrust into that, like I said before, we didn't ask for, we don't want. You know, I had somebody explain it to me. It's like going to a restaurant and you place an order. And your order was for a life with your loved one and for that life to continue the way it was going. But when the waiter brings you something completely different that you did not ask for, our first reaction is no, thank you. Please take that back. Bring me what I ordered. When the world brings you grief because your loved one dies, maybe suddenly, maybe not suddenly, but when we are surprised by the magnitude of the loss and what we feel, we want to give that back. We want to send it back to the kitchen and say, no, thank you. I do not want this. So when we are not ready to deal with the magnitude of loss and grief, it can leave us feeling broken. But what I want to talk about today is I want you to know that you are not broken, that there isn't anything to be fixed. What has to happen is we have to learn and we have to grow and we have to understand what our world is like now, this particular reality that doesn't necessarily have your loved one physically in it. Can they still be involved in your life? Can you still continue a relationship with them? Absolutely. Figuring out how to do that can take a minute, but it is absolutely possible. The world doesn't necessarily understand our grief. The people that you think are going to show up for you suddenly ghost you or stop calling or say things that aren't really helpful. And it's because they don't necessarily understand, or they think they understand something that actually isn't true. That leads to us feeling lonely and disconnected. And if the person that you lost was your one person, that can lead us to feel even more lonely and more lost. So what has to happen is that we have to figure out how to navigate this world without them. So I want to make the message be very clear. You are not broken. You are grieving. Everything that you are feeling with the intense sadness, the complex emotions, the dual emotions that are happening at the same time, the sense of overwhelm from the uncertainty for your future, the anxiety that you wake up with in the morning, your inability to sleep throughout the night or wake up multiple times or not be able to go back to sleep. These are all part of the natural process of grieving. Grief is the emotional response to loss. And when you lose something that means so much to us, that we love that person so much, people are often surprised by the magnitude of the emotions that they feel. And every time I say, of course you're grieving. Of course this has rocked your world. Of course you're feeling this intense magnitude of grief because you love them with that same magnitude. Grief is not something to fix, to get over, or move on from. It's something that you have to integrate into your life. And the world doesn't let you know that. And there definitely is not enough space in the world to actually do that in a way that makes sense. So many people can get pulled into the depths of grief that they feel like they can't get out of. They do feel broken. They feel like there isn't anything that can happen. No one can fix them. No one can help. That is a place of despair, my friends, and that is not where I want you to be. I've worked with lots of people. I've overcome my own grief, and I've helped lots of people make sense of the grief process. Grief doesn't go away, no, but we learn how to carry it. We integrate it into our life. We learn how to decouple or separate the pain, the guilt, the anger from the relationship that we have with that person. It is possible, my friends. So again, I want to encourage you to reach out to me to share your story. If you've suffered a heartbreaking loss, if you feel like you're stuck in your grief, you're not sure how to move forward, but here's the caveat. You do want to move forward. You want to figure it out. You don't want to feel broken like you need to be fixed. Then I want to invite you to reach out to me at griefinspired@gmail.com. I'll send you a link to my calendar and we'll have a Zoom conversation. And that will help me with the research project that I'm doing that is going to create something transformational that's going to help so many people just like you. So if you want to take something devastating and help turn it into something healing, I want to encourage you to reach out to me. And I will leave you with this. You are not broken, my friend. You are grieving. What you are going through is difficult. It is likely one of the hardest things that you'll ever go through. What I want you to know is because you found this video, you're no longer alone in it. I have amazing communities of people. I want you to know that you are likely stronger than you think you are, although lots of people say, well, I don't want to be strong. And I get that. But you are strong. You know why? Because you're here and you're looking for solutions. People who don't want to heal don't come to YouTube looking for solutions. So if you're here, if you are watching this, I know that you want to heal. So I want to encourage you to reach out to me today. Know that you are not broken. Know that you can get through this, that there are tools and strategies and ways of looking at the world, and you can set goals for your grief. You can do this. I want to help. I want you to know that you're not alone in this. You can find peace in your grief. You can laugh again. You can find joy. It doesn't happen overnight. But what I can guarantee will happen is that if you do deal with your grief, on the other side, you will have more meaning and more purpose and more fulfillment in your life than you ever imagined possible. And doing that is the ultimate way to honor not only yourself, but the person that you've lost.